gospel on the radio? It's easy. You turn it on, turn up the volume, and you have gospel.
Listening in the car is cool, I guess, but I'm more into listening from my computer. I just type in the website and I have gospel.
So whether you listen to gospel on the radio on 88.7 FM WEHA
or on your computer on www.wehavegospel.com,
we have gospel.
So check out our new website, wehavegospel.com.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, we're laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing in a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Reaching for the reasons why you should not live. Tired of failing and reaching for the fire down there. And know that the road is long, the walls are high, but if you climb, no in due time, you can finally reach your goal. Never give up on what you dream. If you stop now, you won't achieve. You can do anything in your heart, I believe. Don't give up the fight, 'cause no matter how hard you try, the race is not given to the swift or the strong, but the one who endures until the end.
Hello, WEHA listeners. This is Lisa Diane Hall, General Sales Manager here at WEHA 88.7 and 100.3 FM, where we have gospel and we have talk. We'd like to thank you for listening and sincerely appreciate your continued support over the last 10 years. Thanks to all of you, WEHA is now a 2-time Stellar Award-winning gospel radio station with a recording studio right here in your local community. As the newly appointed General Sales Manager, it is my goal to share my 20 years of experience in broadcasting and marketing with your church, business, or organization. I am pleased to announce WEHA's new community branding partnerships, where you have the opportunity to be heard on all of WEHA's platforms, including 2 FM bands, WEHA WeHaveGospel.com, and all of WEHA's social media pages.
Gospel 88.7 WEHA. It's more than music. It's ministry.
WEHA, Port Republic, Atlantic City, and now on FM translator 100.3 W262CF, Atlantic City, Pleasantville.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting our show together, we're polishing up our act. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing stand in your way.
Good evening, and then welcome to the Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour. Tonight we are hosting 2 fabulous men here today, and I have here my brother Ricardo Belgrave and my brother Reuben Stewart. These 2 fine gentlemen are on a quest to start their own charter school for boys in Atlantic City and surrounding area. And I think they have a very exciting project and a very tumultuous task at hand. And we brought them on tonight. Unfortunately, Jimmy had some other endeavors, and this is Derek Brock, your host tonight, and I'll be hosting the Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour. So I'm excited, looking forward to hearing what these gentlemen have to offer tonight. They are trying to start the Frederick Douglass School for Boys. Very excited about that. They've been going through some challenges, and sounds like they have a great idea, and I'm going to bring them on and have, first I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Ricardo Belgrave, and then I'll have Mr. Stewart jump in there. So, Mr. Belgrave, first to you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with this idea?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you very much for having us this evening. Special thank you to Brother Jimmy Whitehead for inviting us. My name is Ricardo Belgrave, born and raised in Atlantic City, New Jersey, Stanley Holmes Village, second generation. I became an educator in 2008 in Atlantic City schools. And initially, when I started teaching, I recognized a disparity, a gap between the progress, the successful academic progress of males as compared to females. And I wondered why. So I started to do some research, and then I found out that it wasn't just Atlantic City. It was a nationwide, if not worldwide, issue when it came to young men achieving academically at a lower rate than their female counterparts as they advanced through school. So the more research I did, the more I found out that there were certain initiatives out there like single gender classroom models and single gender schools and things of that nature. And I started to, develop a passion for it to the extent where I came up with the idea of opening up a single gender school in Atlantic City to help close that gap and get more of our young men, especially minority young men, through high school into college, graduating from college, and pursuing the career of their choice. So got together with some colleagues of mine in education, really good friends like my vice president of our board and one of my best friends, Ruben Stewart, right here to my left. And then since 2016, we've been on the move to try to open up New Jersey's first single-gender charter school for elementary young men.
Excellent. Now, first of all, I'm really excited because I didn't know that you were originally from Atlantic City.
Yes.
And that you're from Stanley Holmes Village. I grew up in Pitney Village.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
I'm actually a product of the Housing Authority as well.
Yes.
So
yes.
that's very good to see that,
Absolutely.
And it's encouraging because, people that are listening, that we can overcome our obstacles that are placed in front of us.
Absolutely.
Sometimes when you born in these circumstances, people tend to kind of cast us away.
Yes.
But you and I are living proof that you can make it.
Absolutely.
And come out. I just got another question. So what made you decide to become a teacher?
It was actually the first thing I wanted to do when I was asked, when you're young, what do you want to do when you grow up? The first thing I ever wanted to be was an educator, and I was inspired mostly by my first male teacher, Mr. Marvin Hill, not the father, the son. He just got into education. I was going to Indiana Avenue School, and he helped me reach heights academically that I never thought I would be able to. And I said, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to inspire children, especially children who look like me, grow up in the same community as me, to be the best they can be. And in high school, I dabbled around in architecture and, business and things of that nature. So long story short, I'm at Stockton in my senior year in college, going to school for a business management degree. Okay. And I started substitute teaching at Texas Avenue School with Miss Frankie Johnson, principal. Okay. And fell back in love with that original passion. And then I went the alternate route and became a teacher the year after.
Oh, great. So tell us, how did you come up with the name for Frederick Douglass? Because I find that very interesting, given Frederick Douglass's history in this country.
Absolutely.
And for you to choose that name, I'm just really curious, and I'm sure our listeners are curious. Why would you choose the name Frederick Douglass?
Yes. While in college, I took some Black history courses. I have a minor actually in Africana Studies, and as I started to learn more about what he did and how much of a scholar and how much his story was so inspiring, it just made sense for that to be the person to pay homage to. Because as great as he was, he's not very known by people who don't study the history. Everyone knows the Dr. Kings and the Malcolm X's. But for some reason, Frederick Douglass wasn't one of those prominent names. And I also thought it would be inspiring for the children at the all-boys school to learn his story, how literature and learning to read literally changed the course of his life.
Absolutely.
And I think I know that that's one of the pillars to the success of any person, is learning to read, being fluent in reading, and then having that spearhead everything else in your academic and professional careers.
Wow, that's very powerful.
Thank you.
Very powerful, because I actually, did some research on Frederick Douglass prior to coming here today, and in which you said exactly is what he did, and you're walking in some very big shoes there.
Yes.
And education is the foundation
Absolutely.
of growth.
Absolutely.
I've always believed that knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
we can't disagree there. My next question is, how has your support been, and what type of feedback are you getting from the community and the local governments and things of that nature? How is that working out for you guys?
Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to give this question to my partner, Ruben Stewart.
Okay.
And I did want to touch on what you mentioned about coming up in the housing projects.
Okay.
And I think another very unique thing about our story and what we're doing is, I'm from the Stanley Holmes Village. Ruben's from Back Maryland.
Wow.
And you have this dichotomy of Back Maryland versus the village. That's just, it still even goes on to this day, which is amazing to us. But we're an example, in addition to coming from that you can partner and work on, doing things to better your community together.
Absolutely.
Ruben Stewart is our vice president of our nonprofit, the Anna Murray Douglas Foundation, which is named after Frederick Douglass's wife.
Oh, wow.
And he's also our community organizer. So he's like on the ground, he's in the trenches all day, every day. He inspires me to keep going, and I'm gonna have him touch on that a little bit.
Ruben sounds kind of like me.
Yeah, thank you. The support from the community has been amazing from the beginning. We've had all the support we needed. We went out in the very beginning. We got surveys throughout the city, and I think it was like 1,200 surveys we had filled out, and there was about 90% of them said yes, they would support a school of this kind in their neighborhood. And it's not a place I go where I don't get a ask about, like, how's the school going? What's going on with this? Is there anything we could do to help? So from the very beginning, we've had nothing but love from Atlantic City.
Now, as far as developing the school, you guys looking to build your own school, or you looking to move into a location that's already, or you just open to?
As of right now, that was one of the issues that we had, is that the fact that we had the school based in Atlantic City, and the only kids from Atlantic City could go there, that we had to have it in Atlantic City. Okay. So that was one of the challenges that we faced.
Okay.
So since we went on this quest to build the foundation to make it stronger, and then reassess what our lacks were, and come back at it in 5 years to come back stronger that way, because we can't afford this not to happen. Right. The city, we're two products of what you can become from these neighborhoods. Like you said, I grew up, born and raised back Maryland, so I'm a product of it. I still live in Atlantic City. Wow. So I'm there, I'm boots on the ground, we're there fighting, and we see the need firsthand. Absolutely. So we can't afford for the state to say, well, oh, you can't have a space, so the kids can't have this school.
Wow.
So we're going back to the drawing board and getting everything that we need in place, opening up to all of the other districts. That way, if we have to have it in Pleasantville or in Galloway or wherever we have space, we won't be limited.
That's excellent, excellent. Do we have Teddy Tarjay on the line? Okay. Teddy, you have a question?
Absolutely. Yes, I always have questions. So as a former educator, I, agree, and a big proponent of same-sex education. So thank you for your quest, your journey to bring it to fruition, to bring your dreams to fruition. Generally speaking, you usually see same-sex education in the secondary level or high school. However, my experience is that it's needed much more at primary or elementary school level because of the way that our boys are taught. So I have a son, and again, being in the classroom with both males and females, it's a huge difference just in the way that you have to teach a class. I taught engineering. So in teaching engineering, the way that you have to communicate to a young man is a lot different. You have to be very direct, you have to be succinct, and you have to stop. So you have to say something, let them do it, that's it. With a young lady, you could go and say like a whole string of things, and they're okay. But if you do that to a young man, they're like, "Wait, what did you say?" Like, start over. And so, just in those things, it's just amazing the way that the brain works and the way that we see how this really plays out. So again, I commend you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I'm grateful
thank you.
for you because you see the need and you're trying to actually fulfill a need. And with your research that you found, I found, and looking again because I have a son and I have looked at different things that, generally speaking, especially minority boys, generally they come in and with reading and things like that, if they're like taught, initially they're within the 97th percentile. And then somewhere around second grade, they drop off. And at first it's like, well, why?
Yes.
Well, because of what you're saying with Frederick Douglass is the learning shifts from learning to read to reading to learn. One. And it shifts from learning to read to reading to learn, and then the teaching style shifts.
Yes.
Where boys, I don't care what color, they need more of the nurturing mom. And, you know, in kindergarten and first grade, you're still getting like, hey, come on, everybody. We singing Kumbaya, and then all of a sudden you just stop that and you shift, and we lose them.
Yes.
Excellent
And
point.
so, how do you plan on cultivating that learning? And then, how do you plan on cultivating the part with the social skills in the school? Because that's another thing that we are lacking. It's not just the educational part, it's the emotional intelligence where we don't know how to communicate with each other. So, educationally, got it. How do you plan on addressing the social issue with our young boys?
One of the unique points or aspects of our school is that we're going to have a built-in mentorship program that focuses primarily on character development and those those soft skills that you need to be successful in this world. Because a lot of our young boys are taught to be hardened from such a young age that they don't know how to cry, how to feel, and they walk through the classroom with that.
Well, that was actually going to be one of my questions. My question was what role will the male mentors play? Which you just kind of answered that, and also where would they come from?
I actually just started this year was Junior Hive at the Lang City POW. I have a group of 16 boys that are 8 to 12, and for 8 months we met once a week. We meet Tuesdays at 6. Right now we're on a hiatus for the holidays. Right. We start back in February. But the mentors will come from the community, men of the community.
Great.
We were actually in the process of partnering with Big Brothers, Big Sisters to help them do the vetting process as far as the men will go. But the community, we were going to plead to the community, the men, the churches, the teachers, the firefighters, the police officers, like, you want to help? This is how you can help. They need you. Excellent. We need you.
Wow.
In addition to tapping into resources that are already developed and established, like Junior Hive, which Ruben is initiating and doing at POW, like Hive, which Coach Michael Bailey is doing at POW, where he focuses on the middle school and high school level, like Daryl Edmonds, who has Friday is Tie Day, where he's mentoring high school young men. Like Michael Forrest, who's mentoring minority young men at the Atlantic Cape Community College level. Christian Ragland, who's mentoring young men in Egg Harbor City. So there are resources, there are people, there's bridges that we are building to get to connect people who are like-minded in the passion for young men that we'll bring into the school as a community aspect.
Now, not to sound biased, but as a business person,
yes,
I believe that it's important as well to reach out to some of our business owners as well.
Absolutely.
I actually have a friend of mine here tonight, Steve Tober, who's been my mentor in business, and he has his own landscaping business for about 30 years now, Steve?
Yes, 30 years.
About 30 years. So these guys, gentlemen that you mentioned, I know majority of them that you mentioned, they're very great people, but let's try to also add some of the business people to the component, because I think that's a very strong part that's a lot of times that's missing.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the 3 fields of study at our school is business and entrepreneurship.
Okay, great. So,
we have the arts, we have STEM, which is science, technology, and engineering, and then we have the business and entrepreneurship field of study.
Great.
So absolutely. So as the young men get older, they will start mentoring with men that are doing things that they want to do and they aspire to become.
Just before we give it back over to Teddy, I want to ask another quick question because I thought this was interesting. I see that you taught a single gender class at New York Avenue School.
Yes.
Yeah, and that, I found that to be interesting. How were you able to get that done, and how was you able to accomplish that? How was that?
Sure.
That's in a public school. That seemed
Yes.
probably was difficult. I'm sure.
Careful. I'm sorry. Yes, it was difficult, but at the same time, the support was there. I think most people in education see the need for something like this and what we're doing. And so basically, I took the proposal to my principal at the time at New York Avenue School, Mr. James Knox. And, again, someone who's from Atlantic City, Mr. Knox, and understanding the dynamics of male education and mentorship, he was a huge supporter of it. So he pushed it forward, and it was at the 5th grade level, and then I also had another teacher, a colleague of mine who was very, very supportive at the time, Mr. Justin Pryor. We were both men in 5th grade teaching, so I took the initiative to him as well, and he supported it 100%. So we did it in 5th grade, great cohort of young men, and there was a few significant things I learned from that experience. Number one is that even though they were all boys, they were still different and unique in their own way, which helped us develop the 3 fields of study, saying that let's identify the young men's gifts and let's harbor them and nurture them so that they could be successful in life. And then the other thing was that 5th grade was too late, to a certain extent, in terms of when we need to really tap into that single gender model. Mm-hmm. So we requested to go down to kindergarten, and it was denied for several reasons, but that's kind of what really made me say, you know what, then we need to go and do this on our own. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of another element of the story that helped propel us to where we are today.
Wow. You guys have a very, 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 very good, interesting story here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just your whole concept and your approach to this, and it seems that you've done your homework, and I think that's very important.
Definitely.
You guys seem like you've really done your homework, and I'm proud to just say that I'm from Atlantic City, and you gentlemen are doing what you're trying to do. So
thank you.
You have my full support, and I'm sure our listeners are going to support you. Do you have a way for people to support you? You have a GoFundMe or anything like that?
Yes, we do. We have a website. Where again, Ruben mentioned earlier, what we're doing right now is we're really focusing on the financial piece, because that was our weakest link when we went for the school initially. No matter how passionate you are, or how much vision you have, or how much support you have, you got to have your money in order, right? You got to have, and none of us are millionaires. Right. If we were, we would fund it ourselves. So we're looking now to strengthen our 501c3 nonprofit. We have a tax-exempt nonprofit organization that's doing events to raise money, and we do have a GoFundMe. You can follow us at AMD FI 2016. That's on Facebook.
Say that again.
AMD FI, which stands for Anna Murray Douglas Foundation Incorporated.
Okay.
2016. Type that in the search engine on Facebook, and our page will come up, and you can like the page.
I need all our listeners out there to go to that page and support these wonderful gentlemen from what they're trying to do. As you know, as African Americans, this is one of the biggest challenges to bringing things and projects like this to fruition is funding. So, we this is a good time of year. This is Christmas, so some of you guys are probably in the gift-giving spirit right now. So maybe you guys are filled in your hearts to reach down and help these gentlemen get this off the ground, because I believe that with their background and their intention, they're going to have a very successful operation. So I will hope that people that are listening would support this project, and we'll give that information again before this show is over.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
So Teddy, you want to say something?
Right now, I think we should go and take a break and come back and regroup.
Okay.
So that we can get some more information about financial things, and the gentleman can talk more about their finances and goals that they actually have, like actual financial goals. Mm-hmm. So when we come back from this break, we'll go ahead and talk about that and much more.
Great. So we'll take a break and come right back. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting our show together, we're polishing up our act. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing, nothing stand in your way. I want y'all to listen, listen to every word I say, every word I say. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. We've got to do. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. I know. Ain't no stopping us now. We've got to do. We got it. I know you know someone that has a negative vibe, and if you're trying to make it, they only push you aside. They really don't have nowhere to go. Ask them where they're going, they don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're gonna put our show together, gonna polish up our act. Wow. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing, nothing stand in your way. I want y'all to listen, listen to every word I say, every word I say. No, no, no. We're moving, we're grooving. We're moving, yeah, yeah. We're grooving. Moving, 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 go. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. I know we got the groove. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. We got the groove. Ain't no stopping us now. Oh no, no, I'm on the move. I really, really got that groove. Ain't no stopping us now. I know we've got the groove. Let you on the really move. Ain't no stopping us now. No need in trying, no, 'cause I ain't buying. No, don't try to stop us, no, no, no. Got the groove, got the groove. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. I really, really got that groove. Ain't no stopping us now. No need in denying. Well, I ain't lying. Ain't no stopping us now. I know. It's been far too long. Well. Ain't no stopping us now. Ain't no stopping us. We've got the groove. Ain't no stopping us. It's been far too long, y'all.
Yes, we're back with the Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour with two dynamic gentlemen here tonight, Mr. Ricardo Belgrave and Ruben Stewart. These two fine gentlemen are on a quest to build the Frederick Douglass Boys School for Boys. I mean, if anybody's been out there listening within this past half an hour, I mean, this has really been an exciting conversation here, just listening to these gentlemen and their passion and where they're from, you know, which means a lot to me. I know that Mr. Belgrave wanted to touch on that subject, so I want to let him touch on that where we're from thing, because you mentioned that you wanted to touch on more of that.
Yes, I just Ruben brings it to, or reminds me often about that dynamic, because I have a tendency to overlook it. But the fact that you know, we're born and bred from two of the most toughest neighborhoods to grow up in Atlantic City in terms of the Stanley Holmes Village and back Maryland in the late 80s and early 90s, but yet found each other and found a common goal, and now, using that energy to help push us forward is really important. And then Ruben also mentioned our the choice in which us wanting to keep it in Atlantic City, because we were it was suggested to us that we make it a county school and find another city to put it in and bus the children, to the school, which a couple of charter schools do that in this area. But we were really passionate about keeping it in Atlantic City and finding a location and or building one of our own, because we want to make it a community effort and a community initiative. And we find it really difficult to build that kind of community camaraderie by having the busing system. So, again, location is really important. Being in the community is really important, and that's just another part of our story and what we're trying to do.
Excellent. Teddy, are you there?
I am here.
Yeah, you wanted to talk about this financing and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, let's talk about the financing piece, because that's something that's major, right? So
Absolutely.
With charter schools, I don't know if you're doing public charter, private charter, but they're all different types and things like that. But one of the things that you mentioned is that you guys have a 501c3.
Yes.
So first things first, anyone who's going to your site and doing their donation, maybe a corporation or personal, because it is a 501c3, it is tax deductible.
Yes.
Number one, that should be mentioned. I don't know or don't recall it being mentioned before, but if you're looking for your last minute tax donations and things like that to make your bottom line go down just a little bit, then this is definitely one way to do that. And then the second thing is a question. How much do you actually need in order to launch your charter?
Conservatively, $500,000. The state gives a matching grant of up to $250,000. So if we were able to raise $250,000 of our own dollars, the state will give us a $250,000 amount to match that. So that's what we're looking for. To have something really, really close to that. And, one of the most difficult parts is, it's hard for people to see the vision, obviously, as you see it. So sometimes it's hard for people to give to something that they don't, kind of can't touch, can't feel, can't see in terms of the school and the aspect. So that's why every year we do our father-son breakfast, which is going to be our 4th annual coming up in February, the end of February. And it's a way for people to give. And this year our goal is to make it a free event. We've charged in the past, but this year we want to have up to 150 father figures and sons and son figures at the Atlantic City Sheraton, free of charge, paid for by sponsorship and donations.
Wow, that sounds excellent.
One of the parts about our father-son breakfast is you come for the breakfast, of course, and then you leave with a message. We have 3 keynote speakers every year, and they always come with a powerful message. Yes. This year, our message, we give out free shirts as well. Last year, our shirt said, Community of Brothers. This year, our shirt is saying, I am your responsibility. So when you look at that young man or that father, it brings back that sense of community, because you see that shirt and it's like, you're my responsibility. I'm your responsibility. We're trying to bring back that old school of thought, that I am your brother's keeper.
Now, one other question I wanted to ask in terms of teachers, because I see that this is an all-boys school, and you two are certainly men. So how do you intend on, as far as the teachers, is that going to be standard? As far as women and men, how's that going to work out?
The goal, unfortunately, there aren't enough male teachers to have an all-male staff, nor would we really want to. So our goal is to have 1 male teacher on every grade level, if not more. That way they have that experience that Ricardo shared, that I have. Mine came in 6th grade. Mr. Brown, he was like one of our first.
Newton Brown, yes.
Newton Brown, yeah. So it was like, I met him then, and I didn't want to be the teacher as far as that side of it. I always wanted to be the mentor, because I feel like it's our goal as young men as older man, to teach me
Wait,
what
now,
you
you
know.
pointing at me now. Wait a minute. You pointing at me.
Through our shared
I'm young.
experiences, we can through our shared experiences, we can overcome things quicker.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's why I love the mentoring aspect of it.
Wow. My next question is now private funding. Can you incorporate private funding into this plan? Is it all have to be? Is it a mixed funding plan?
Definitely.
The private funding would be would filter through the nonprofit. So you privately donate to the nonprofit, who then donates and supports the school's initiative financially.
Okay, so can you partner with, say, a individual and make it a private partner, public relationship where you can have an investor, so to speak? Maybe is that? I'm just asking. Is that a possibility that you can have an investor invest in something like this, or is that something that works with the charter school?
I have to do some more research on that to find out exactly in terms of the charter school element, and how what the bylaws and rules are in that case. But again, having the nonprofit as an umbrella to help with funding is why we made it a point to establish that first, to then push forward opening up the school.
So this is a private school, not a public school.
It is our goal is public charter.
Okay.
Which is independently operated, but is funded through public dollars.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And the reason why we need funding initially is because they don't give you the money to start. As a matter of fact, your first year of operation, you really don't receive your public dollars until school has already started, typically October or November, because you're waiting for the public school district to give you that money. So you need money to obviously get started, to lease a building or buy a building, whatever the case may be, marketing, promoting, materials. You need everything to start it. Then you need money to pay for payroll for at least the first 2 months as the school is operating and running before the public dollars come in.
Interesting. Wow. I didn't know all that was involved as far as how you guys would set it up. I always assumed that it was like a state-run operation, and you just needed a charter to get it up and running. But it's almost like actually operating a business.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
100%, yes.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yep.
One of my questions is you talked about the funding to actually have the building or leasing or what have you. So your $500,000 includes that number as well?
The $500,000 does include the leasing of a building, not purchasing of a building. So that the $500,000 is our conservative, bottom line number. Anything more than that will help us reach other goals that we have, which is to own our own building and so forth and so on.
Right. Okay. And then one of the other questions that I have, going back to the socialization component. So while we have same-sex education, again, I get it. How will you then introduce how to correspond with the opposite sex, being as though all classes and things like that are taught single gender?
I think the biggest the biggest part is our initiative for our young men in terms of them giving back as well, because we are going to have a community effort with our young men with volunteering their time. So doing things that are geared towards them being around their female counterparts, in addition to collaboration and partnerships with a Boys and Girls Club or Atlantic City POW, where they engage with their female counterparts. Those are some ways in which we will establish, building those kind of relationships and helping them to understand that even though it is a single gender model and classroom, we as men are protectors of our community, and that begins first with us protecting the women in our community.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit more about this Anna Murray Douglas Foundation, this 5013, and I see that you said that this is named after Frederick Douglass's wife.
Yes, his first wife. He was married to and with for the majority of his life. She actually helped him escape slavery in Maryland to gain his freedom. Yes.
Interesting. And this how many members do you guys have? Is this a large organization or just you two gentlemen?
No, go ahead.
We have about 6 board members.
Okay.
And then we have a couple just like community supporters that are always there for whenever we need them.
Okay.
The larger purpose of our foundation is to support the school, and after the school is up and running, we're going to be our own entity. So as of right now, we're establishing Anna Mary Douglas. The first 5 years, Anna Mary Douglas was in the back seat. Frederick Douglass was driving the car. Now, we put Frederick Douglass in the back to protect the brand as we strengthen the organization to come back strong. So we supply support in the form of volunteering, cash if we have it at the time, and just bridge. There's a lot of work to be done in our community, and it's way too much work for just one organization to do it. So we're actually a part of the family conference that's coming up in January.
Okay.
We partner with whoever and whatever in our city that's doing something positive to help them reach their goal, because, like I said, as many hands that we have towards this work, then the more we can accomplish.
So you are looking for volunteers? Are you looking for volunteers, anybody to assist? Are you guys taking on people to assist you guys in any way?
Absolutely. We're always looking for people to volunteer to help. Right now, in the phase of building the nonprofit is more behind the scenes things. When we started in 2016, marketing and promoting, we were boots on the ground, knocking on doors, going door to door in Atlantic City, getting surveys and things of that nature, and that will again be a part of the marketing. But right now, it's more or less setting up meetings and communicating with people in the community to help us find ways to finance, and build resources for the nonprofit.
So how do you intend on getting these young boys into your program?
The public lottery system.
Okay.
Well, we were first applications, and then if we had more than we needed, we would have a lottery.
Okay.
And we were
I'm sure you'd be.
We had before we
everybody be running to get in there.
We had about 60 already signed up before
Yes.
we had to before we got denied.
So how many are you looking to have in your school?
We're going to start off initially with 180.
Okay.
We're going to have kindergarten, first, and second grade to start off.
Okay.
And then every year we build a grade level after.
Wow. Well, I'm actually excited. I mean, just hearing about this, I'm really looking forward to seeing you gentlemen get this off the ground. Being from Atlantic City and knowing the issues that we have there, I've always had a feeling like this is what I always used to say, what I always say now, that. And a friend of mine said this to me one time. He said, there's a lot of ways to get out of the hood, but there's no signs. There's no signs. And one of the things I see with society is that people want to do better in life, but there's really not a lot of guidance on how to go about doing better.
Absolutely.
And your schools, to me, seems like it takes more of a hands-on approach to developing a person as opposed to just throwing books at them and teaching them.
Definitely.
It's more or less concerned about the individual.
Exactly.
And I think this is one of the reasons, I believe this is one of the reasons why I'm excited about that, because it almost addresses part of that problem. And Atlantic City has a big issue with people that doesn't seem to have a understanding where to go or how to go about things.
Definitely.
And it does start with the youth and how we're raising them and training them.
Definitely.
Especially our boys.
Yes.
Because when you look at the crime and violence and drugs and things of that nature, it's affecting our black men. So what you guys are doing is very powerful, and I really wish you much success with getting this off the ground.
Thank you. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it touches on a point that I wanted to make tonight is there's this frame of mind that charters and public and traditional public schools have to compete with each other, and we don't see it that way. Even though we understand that there's some competitive element in that, we look at ourselves as a resource to the public schools, because we know they're overwhelmed. When you have to teach 4,000 plus children and try to get every single one of them to succeed, there's going to be some children, sadly enough, that are going to fall through the cracks. Our goal is to be another support to help close those gaps, to get more children to accomplish their goals, which is the ultimate goal of the community as a whole.
That's right.
So we always want to make sure that we advocate and we promote the fact that we're not competing with Atlantic City schools. We're here to support. We are products of the Atlantic City public school system. I taught in the Atlantic City public schools for 10 years. I loved every minute. Not every minute, but most minutes of it. It's hard times sometimes.
I want to say something. I'm going to say something I know Jimmy probably would say. Jimmy is an ex-military guy, and he's always saying America. Everything is about America, and I can see Jimmy saying that this is America. And as far as school vouchers go, I think in America the children should be able to go where it's best for them to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be pigeonholed into these school systems, that doesn't provide the right resources that's necessary. It's sometimes that has something to do with our development in our communities as well.
And then again, children are different, and the all boys single gender model is not for every young man. Every young man will not flourish in that type of model. But for those parents who think that this is something that their child would benefit from, that we're there to service them. At the high school level now, the children have more choices in terms of where they can go with. It could be a performing arts school or a technological school or a school that's geared towards pushing children into getting into 4-year colleges. Some children flourish in big school environments. Some children like smaller school environments, and the goal is choices. Giving parents and children choices to find out what lane they will be most successful in is the goal.
Yeah, I think it's a shame that we have parents going to jail for trying to do that.
Exactly. Exactly.
For trying to get their children to what's best
for their child. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know why that's like that. I mean, I understand to a certain extent, but to put a person in jail because of that I don't understand that.
Yeah.
A parent is always going to want what's best for that
Absolutely.
child. So
Absolutely.
We're going to take a break again, and thanks for listening to the Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour. We'll be right back with Ricardo Belgrave and Ruud Stewart from the Frederick Douglass School for Boys.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting our show together, we're polishing up our act. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing, nothing stand in your way. I want y'all to listen, listen to every word I say, every word I say. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. We got to do. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. I know. Ain't no stopping us now. We've got to do. We got it. I know you know someone that has a negative vibe. And if you're trying to make it, they only push you aside. They really don't have nowhere to go. Ask them where they're going, they don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're gonna put our show together, gonna polish up our act. Wow. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing, nothing stand in your way. been trying, cause I ain't buying. No, don't try to stop us, no. Got the groove, got the groove. I really got that groove. No need in denying, well, I ain't lying. I know. It's been far too long, well. Ain't no stopping us. We've got the groove. Ain't no stopping us. It's been far too long, y'all. Just doing me while I get in line. We're leaving the negative people way behind. Oh, so they ain't no. Please. Don't make me stop. See, I don't know where.
Welcome back to the Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour. We have Mr. Ricardo Belgrave and Mr. Ruben Stewart from the Frederick Douglass School for Boys. I mean, this has been an exciting time to listen to this story of these gentlemen with this passion. In fact, one of their monologues here at the top of their paper I have here says, breaking chains of oppression while building bridges of success. You know, I mean, just that approach alone, you know, is really near and dear to my heart because most of you that do know me, you know that these are the things that I'm passionate about. It's about our community and how important it is that we lift ourselves up and how important it is to be educated and do for ourselves. Mm-hmm. So, you know, to hear these gentlemen playing and the fact that they're from Atlantic City and from a product of the housing authority community, you know, that these gentlemen survived the gunshots and the drugs and the crime and all these other avenues that they could have taken. They may have taken them, but they were able to get back on track because most of us, we do tend to stray off a little bit as teenagers. But and I'm sure you guys want to talk about that. Did you guys happen to go through that challenge?
Yeah, absolutely. Ruben's story, you know, he always shares it. Mine, I don't usually share, but I will. I was a quiet young man for the most part, and I was that kid who everybody knew because I was the black kid named Ricardo. So it's kind of hard to forget that.
I thought you were Spanish at first.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Well, I am half Hispanic. My father is originally born in Panama.
Okay.
So my whole father's side of my family speaks Spanish. They're
Right.
Panamanian.
Wow.
And then my mother's side is from Atlantic City and, you know, African American. But
They're all black.
yes, all of them are. Yeah.
Black people, I'm saying, they're all Panamanians.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes. But when I graduated high school, I had a child at 19 years old. So I had graduated. I went to Morgan State University. And I'm 19. I found out that my girlfriend at the time was pregnant while at Morgan State. And I'm sitting here trying to make a decision on what I'm going to do. You know, so me not having my father in my home, my father was in my life, but not in my home. It was really important that if I was going to have a child, that I was there. So I told my family after just getting sent off from, you know, to college and then, you know, loading up the cars and driving me there and everybody's proud of me, first generation going to college, calling them and telling them that I'm coming back home. Wow. They were devastated. And it was probably the most difficult time of my life. And on top of that, my son was born premature, 1 pound, 13.9 ounces.
Wow.
So I'm 19, premature baby, going to school at Stockton. I transferred to Stockton,
Okay, great.
working a full-time job, and having our own 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment, you know? So being able to, and understanding that to make my family proud and to ensure that I did not fall back victim to the certain circumstances that I grew up in, I had to graduate from school. That was just like, I don't care what the situation was. I don't care if we had to eat oodles and noodles and, you know, water, whatever. I have to graduate from college. I did it. It took me 5 years, but I did it. And then that's when I got into education, and everything took off from there.
Wow, that's remarkable.
Yeah. So again, education is just it always goes back to that.
Yeah, but that determination though, that's what got you through that.
Yes.
Yeah, that determination that you were determined that you weren't going to be like the people around you. You wanted to be something different. Your parents got you to a level where you can be the first generation college grad in your family, and you didn't want to let them down.
Absolutely.
You didn't want them down.
100%.
And how's your son today?
He's great. He's a sophomore at Garber Township High School.
Okay, great.
And I have 4 more boys.
Wow.
So I have 5 boys. I'm blessed. I have a 5-month-old now.
Wow.
My baby Noah. My son is 4.
So you need a
Jaden.
school just for your kids.
I know, right? That's what everybody tell me. You open up the school for your boys. So I'm blessed, and I'm married to my lovely wife Lisa, and we're really, really blessed.
I commend you, man.
Thank God for
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Glad to hear that. You want to tell your story?
Oh yeah, I had a couple of one of those like eye-opening moments. The one kind of sober, sad one is one of my friends got murdered in 2001. So that kind of like took me to a place where it was like, I don't want that to happen to me, or why did this happen in the first place, and how could it have been prevented?
Wow.
So that's what put me on the path to mentorship. The other one happened a little later. This was like around 2003. I was a senior in high school. All of my friends hanging around. They're like, oh, let's go do something stupid. So they went and robbed the Highgate store back Maryland. If I have went with them, which I decided like, no, this is okay. I'm going to college in a couple months. Like, this is not something I want to be a part of. I would have been the oldest in the group. It was about 7 of them. The oldest in the group, he wound up getting about 13 years.
Wow.
So that would have been me.
Wow.
So he got 13. My cousin got 7. My younger cousin got 5. So it was just a bad thing that it was just that split decision. If I would have made the wrong choice, I could have been in that position.
And that's a good point that you made, because I always say that, it really comes down to choices.
That's
and a friend of mine told me years ago, he said, you get a 1 minute, barely if that, to make the right decision at the right time. So let's talk about your breakfast that's coming up. You said you're having a men's breakfast.
Yes, this is our 4th annual father-son breakfast. This is our event of the year. We do other small events throughout the year, but this kind of spearheads everything else. And we're looking for between 100 and 150 fathers and father figures, sons and son figures, to come to the Sheraton in Atlantic City on February 29th. It's going to be from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the event is basically a way for us to promote positive male role models in the community. So we do have 3 keynote speakers that come from different walks of life, different phases, businesses, religion, whatever. And they give their piece to the young men and even men, because we always learn something at the event. And we've charged for the event in the past, but this year our goal is to make it free. So in order to do that, we need to raise $5,000. That will cover the cost of the venue. We also give away gift cards to the movies, to Chuck E. Cheese, to things that fathers and sons can do together.
Okay.
So that's always a big part of our event. We give out 65 T-shirts to the first 65 people who walk through the door with our theme of the year on it. And, so that will cover that. And in addition, our goal this year is to give out our first scholarship to a minority male at Atlantic City High School who's going to school for education. So that's something that we want to do as well.
So how can people contribute to that? Because you say you have a goal of raising $5,000.
Yes.
So how can people contribute to that goal?
Absolutely. So they can, again, go to our page on Facebook, the Anna Murray Douglas Foundation. You could type it in the search engine, the Anna Murray Douglas Foundation, or you can put at A as in Apple, M as in Mary, D as in dog, F as in Frank, I as in Igloo, 2016 in the search engine, and our page will come up. And from there, you can support our GoFundMe, which is right now, our goal again is to raise $5,000. So you can donate, small, big, whatever. That'll really help us out. Right now, we do have several businesses that have pledged to donate to us.
Okay. Are you looking for volunteers?
The Sheraton pretty much covers.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
handle
you guys
it.
are having it at the Sheraton?
Yes,
Boy,
we're
I
having it
need
at the Sheraton.
$5,000. Wow, you guys, that sounds like a very, what, you got to wear suit and tie too?
No, definitely casual.
No, it's very, very, very casual.
Okay.
But if you're a business and you want to donate, we actually have the T-shirts that we give out have the sponsors on the back. So the name of your business, the number can go on the back of the shirt, and we have a different level of sponsorships if you're interested.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to the end of the Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour. Hope you enjoyed the show with Teddy Tajay as our co-host. I'm Derek Brock. We're signing off. Thank you, and tune in next Monday at 5 p.m. For Jimmy will be back for the Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour.
History throughout the timeline, casinos hit the skyline. A few comedy clubs got the tourists in love. Summertime beach bars make you feel like you a star. Windows crack down, AC Ave, the music blast. From the hip hop shop to sneaker villa. Parties in the inlet, never forget they ain't a place filler. Every day is live from push carts to jitney rides. Boardwalk after dark, still peer with your peers. Soul food, the funnel cakes. Welcome to the Garden State. You gotta love this place. Heart of the tri-state. From the landmark to land shark. Barbecues in the park. Battle by the bay, the city so full of spark. This is my city till death do us part. So no matter what.
Gospel 88.7 WEHA. It's more than music. It's ministry.
WEHA, Port Republic, Atlantic City, and now on FM translator 100.3 W262CF, Atlantic
Hi,
City.
this is George C.
Hi, this is Super Steph.
This is Lisa Diane Hall.
Hey, it's me, Professor J.
This is Rose.
Hey, this is Bishop John Gandy.
Hi, this is Tawana Davis.
Hi, this is Thelma Witherspoon.
Hi, this is Tamaya J.
Hey, this is Sister Girl.
Hi, this is Tehran.
Hi, this is Evangelist Laniel.
Hey, this is Chris.
Hi, this is Delrita Hawks.
Hi, I'm Christine Hawks Washington.
Hey, this is Lady Praise.
Hi, I'm El Presidente. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year from all of us here at Gospel 88.7 FM WEHA.
Hello, WEHA listeners. This is Lisa Diane Hall, General Sales Manager here at WEHA 88.7 and 100.3 FM, where we have gospel and we have talk. We'd like to thank you for listening and sincerely appreciate your continued support over the last 10 years. Thanks to all of you, WEHA is now a 2-time Stellar Award-winning gospel radio station with a recording studio right here in your local community. As the newly appointed General Sales Manager, it is my goal to share my 20 years of experience in broadcasting and marketing with your church, business, or organization. I am pleased to announce WEHA's new community branding partnerships, where you have the opportunity to be heard on all of WEHA's platforms.